Hello, beautiful people, my gorgeous, gorgeous techies, my handsome, handsome techies. Hello again, and welcome to K Talks Tech, or welcome back to K Talks Tech. This is the YouTube channel where we want to encourage underrepresented groups to pursue a career in technology, especially people who look like me, especially Black women. So, I recently did a contract where there were three Black people, including me, on a staff of eight. Yeah, I think it was eight. And let me tell you something. That's the highest percentage there has ever been in my entire 39-year career. That's right, I said it, 39 years. Your girl's about to enter her 40th year in tech in a couple of days, and I'm still going strong. I love it. And so I also love talking about it. So I'm here to talk to you about it. And I'm breaking it all down for you. I'm breaking down what the jobs are, where the jobs are, how do you get them, how do you prepare for them, what type of background you need, what type of education do you need, what the job titles are, what do those titles mean, and how much they pay, right? So everything you ever needed to know. Um, I also do individual coaching. So if you're interested in that, DM me and you tell me what you need and I'll let you know, what it's going to cost you and, what I think you should do. Sometimes people need a little help with their um, career paths. And so I'm happy to provide that. So what I want to do right now is I want to jump into the role of UX designer. I love the role of UX designer because if you want to code, you can. If you don't want to code, you don't have to. So here's what I mean by that. UX designer is UX means user experience. So you design the experience the user is going to have while using a product or an application. Um, so it could be anything from a mobile application, it could be Google Maps, it could be PayPal, it could be anything. But you design that experience, the look and the feel and the clicks, right? Um, there's a closely related thing called UI design, or user interface design. Now, the user interface is that's those screens that the user is using. The screens are the interface. So when you're when the user or the person, let's say when the person using the application is clicking around, what they're clicking on is a user interface, but the experience they're having is referred to as a user experience. So a lot of times you see these two things together, UX/UI design, right? But UI design, which is what happens from a technical perspective, when you click the code behind it, that's the user interface design. And people who do that code, right? So if you're a coder and you want to do something a little more creative, UX or UI design might be the way for you to go. If you are a creative person who does, say, graphic design, or you're some sort of designer and you want to get into tech because it pays well and you think that your skill set can be used there, that's UX design. And those guys don't code, right? So let's look a little more deeply into this. So let's hop on into some job descriptions. Okay, so let me hop over here to this screen and let's go to salary.com, which is the first place I usually go when I want to look into a job. So as soon as you hover over for you, you'll see this banner drop down and you go right there and you type in the job that you want to review. UX designer. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. Okay. Let me move a little more slowly. UX. Okay, look at this. UI designer, UI designer developer, usability designer. So you see there human factors, UI designer. So there's a lot of different titles here, but we want to focus on the UX, not the UI. Okay, so user experience, digital designer, web UI designer. We're just going to go with generic UX designer. So let's look for that. We don't want this. Okay, so let's see. First thing that pops out is UX design right for you? So that might be helpful. So let's hold on to that. And then you have Google, grow with Google, no experience necessary becoming UX designer. So let's, hold on to that too and go back and take a look at it. Because that's going to help us design it, decide if this is something we want to do, right? So here we are, UX designer. Now, before we jump into there, we see junior UX designer, which we definitely want to take a look at, right? Because watching this channel will probably be more junior. Okay, so let's scroll down more. Associate UX designer. I want to take a look at that one too. Principal UX designer. It's important to see where careers go. So we want to open that too. Okay, there's manager. Um, now, here's where begin with manager. There's no job descriptions for these, right? So we can still find out what they do. We just can't find it out on this site. So let's scroll back up and go to UX designer. Okay, view job details. Okay, this is not a bad salary, but how much experience do you need here? So this is across the US. We didn't put in a specific city, but the average is 110. I don't really find average helpful because if you live on one of the coasts, you're going to make a lot more money than if you live inland in a more rural area because it doesn't cost as much to live there. So I like to use I like to use New York City as the standard because when you use a specific city, you could go here, right here it says view cost of living in major cities. So if I use a specific city, you could come into here and compare your cost of living to the city that I'm using, and then you'll be able to see something that's more specific to you. Or you can just type in your city, right? So I am going to change the city. And you got the big city list here. So let's just go with this because it's easy to compare to where you are. Okay, so a UX designer, not a junior, not a senior. I'm assuming this is intermediate and we'll dig into that. But it's saying 116 to 143. That's not too bad. Okay, so let's just scroll down. There's some job openings. I wanted to see more about the job description. So we know how much it pays, but we didn't see what you have to do. Okay, so let's go back here to UX designer. Let's look at the plain UX designer and see job description. This is not on this page. Okay, there. Let's see. User submitted job duties. What do they do? Implement lean UX principles. I don't know what that is. Demonstrate commitment to achieving what? Plan and facilitate user research activities. I tell you what, let's go back to that first page we were on. Okay, let's see if we can't get back to the job description. Okay, so this was before we got it, so let's go there. Okay, here we go. UX designer. Okay, implement lean UX principles for minimal viable products for prototyping and testing. Okay, so lean UX principles is that you'll learn about when you are learning how to be a UX designer. They'll teach you what these things are and defining minimal viable products, right? So when you create a product, you come up with the smallest part of the product that you can create kind of as a test that would also be useful. So if the test goes well, you can go ahead and release it to whoever's going to use it. So that's what a minimal viable product is in a very simplistic description. For prototyping and testing, right? So prototyping is I'm not creating the real thing, but I'm going to create as much of it as I can within what we've decided would be a good test. Okay, and then you test it. So that's what that means. I don't know why this is, oh, because this is a user generated description that I don't like because it's mentioned a specific company. So that's has limited usefulness because that's someone describing their specific job and we want something more general. So then let's look at the job openings. Okay. Okay. This is all right. UX designer, 18 months. This looks like this is a part of what these people have put in here, and I don't want that. I want some plain old jobs. All right. I'm not happy with what I'm seeing here, so let's do this. Let's go over to ZipRecruiter and UX designer. Okay. I guess my internet connection is a little slow today, which I absolutely hate because I have a type A personality and I like things to move quick, quick, quick. Okay. So user experience designer from 2 weeks ago. This is in for Vanguard. That's a major company. My VPN has told the thing that I'm in Philadelphia, so it took that. So it's showing me Philadelphia. I don't want to see Philadelphia. I would like to see New York. Okay, here we go. UI UX designer growth. 105 to 125. Now, how much experience they want? 5 years of design. I think that's a little low. 5 years is mid-level to me, and this one is 60 to $72 an hour for a contract. Now, whenever I look at the hourly rates, I just double them to get close to what the yearly salary is. So this is 120 to 144, right? I know it's 52 weeks in a year, not 50, which is what I'm doing when I do that math, but as a consultant, you're not going to work 52 weeks. You're only going to work about 50 because there's holidays and the company is closed and they don't want to pay you on the days that they're closed, even if you do work. Okay, must have OTT video streaming experience. That's kind of, different. Okay, let's see this. UX designer 120 to 130. Let's see. T-shaped designer originating from other disciplines who is able to model and concisely communicate complex systems and concepts. I don't know what T-shaped means. 0 to 1 research methods. Uh, let's see. UX strategy leads to understand and partner with senior leaders while developing strategies which inform priority plans. So you say UX designer, now you're talking about a strategy lead. This is one of those job descriptions where somebody's trying to get everything they want at once. You say UX designer, you didn't say anything about lead, so I'm going to throw that out and look at something else. Senior UX designer researcher, remote, up to 130. Now, here's the thing, when you say 90 to 130, this is what they'd like to give you, okay? And so you can argue and get to here, but that's not real because there's a lot of people looking for these remote jobs. And if they find somebody at 91, even if they don't have the same skill set as you, then they'll take the cheaper person. Okay, now Blenderbox wants a UX designer, experienced UX designer researcher. This sounds more like what we would be looking for in terms of a job description to kind of get a feel for what this role is, right? So let's see. US based, full time remote, agile, cross functional teams, attention to detail, 5+ years experience in a user experience designer role, or equivalent delivering digital experiences. Okay, the or equivalent refers to user experience designer, not to the 5 years. So you need 5 years experience, and after 5 years, they want to pay you up to 130K. So I want to look for something that is more entry level. This is a senior 55 to 60. Let's see here. 4 years experience here. Let's look at this. Okay, so it starts at 100K. Let's look more at the lower end. I would really want to look more at people with under 5 years experience. Let's see, what is this? This is paying 110. That's $55 now. Okay, this is 1 to 3 years experience. So if you have 1 to 3 years experience and you make $110,000 a year, I think that's pretty good. That's $55 an hour. And this is not a range. Boom, that's what it is. Okay. So you will have to build up your portfolio to compete, but you can do it. Make sure you get some internships. I think that Google does internships when they do their certificates. At a minimum, they do have like a separate, not a separate, but a list of companies that are participating, and there's an internal job board that's open only to people who have taken their certificate course. Now, look at this contract UX designer, 85 to $110 an hour. So you can start at 110 a year and maybe get to 110 an hour. I might have to change careers myself. Okay. So, creative strategy and tech agency seeks a remote freelance UX designer and strategist. Okay. Should have you experience user research, design, innovate, elegant experiences. Looking for creative thinking. Some things we're looking for. Okay. So you'll be part of a team. Let's, okay. 3 years prior work experience in a related role. Now, I'm not a creative at all, but experience with content strategy, web development, data visual, user SEO, or social media is a plus. Now, the funny thing is, I have all of this from web development down, but I cannot do this job. Okay, strategic thinkers, 3 years prior work. You need a portfolio. Listen, if you can make $85 an hour after 3 years, why wouldn't you? And they haven't said anything about coding. Be a team, each member is a huge contributor to the projects they lead, so forth and so on. Okay, this is very nice. 85 to $110 an hour. Okay, that's for a contract. Now, how long is the contract? That's the question because designing a user experience usually doesn't take that long. In the places I've worked, they expect it to be done in less than 3 months. So, excuse me, you might not be on the contract that long. So, is it worth it to you? Okay, 85 to 110, they definitely want to pay you the 85. And even if you have the portfolio that gets you to show your worth is at 110, they'll still take the cheaper person because that's what they do. Okay, so let's move on. Let's see what else we got. Principal UX designer, seller analytics and growth UX, 244 full time. This is very nice. 10 years design experience. So now we saw the entry level was 110 a year. The intermediate level as a contractor can bring you 85 to $110 an hour. That's 170 to 220 a year. And after 10 years, here's a job that's going to pay you 244. Hmm. Here's another one. It's lower working for the bank, but we're just seeing what the possibilities are. Educator UX designer. What does that mean? Define the education experience of the future for $110,000. Do they really want to? And then teach their 12-week, oh, because you're teaching. You see how that really changed and how much, how many years experience do they want? They're going to pay 110K a year to teach a 12-week course. So 12 weeks is 3 months. So that 110 is going to be divided by 3. Okay. How many years experience are they asking for? 3 to 5 years experience and a certificate, diploma, or post-secondary degree. So, you know, if I were trying to get into or trying to grow my career in user experience design, I might be willing to do that because you have to remember everything is a stepping stone. Let's see. At Fortune, they'll pay you 80 to 100 with 3 to 5 years experience. So some of these things definitely pay better than others. Now here's another one at JP Morgan Chase that pays a lot more. Okay. Minimum education and experience required, master's degree. Employee will alternatively accept a bachelor's degree in design, human computer interaction related field of study plus 2 years experience. So they're going to pay this person on the lower end. Okay. But, okay. Let's see this one. Capital RX. Capital prescription is paying what? How much experience do they want and what are they paying? They don't say what they're paying, but they're only looking for 2 years experience. Then they're starting to ask for industry experience. But if you got a great portfolio, this part won't matter that much because they're only looking for 2 years experience. Salesforce designer. Uh, this is very specific, so I won't get into that one. It's UX designer, 120 to 130. Okay, okay. So what do you think? I think it pays fairly well. So what do you have to do to to get into it? Okay. So we have this Career Foundry. Let me go back to just to make sure. Let me come back to me for a minute. So if you're watching this and you like what you're seeing and you find it informative, do me a personal favor. Tell a friend, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Um, and remember that all this information is free of charge, and it's a great way to support the channel and, show your love. Help us grow. Okay. Help me grow because I'm trying to help you grow. How about that? Do me a solid. One hand washes the other, right? So yeah, if you can do that and tell your friends about it, I would appreciate it. So let's go back over here and continue reviewing what the deal is with user experience design. So, how do you get into it? Oh, here we go. Everything you need to know. Top things to know. Okay, so I'm going to need to add this website into, I'll just keep it there. I'll keep it up. So, I'll put this in the description box. Okay, listen. Here's what it is. The goal is to create easy, efficient, pleasant experience with a brand of business. Covers the entire user journey, while user interface design refers only to the visual and interactive elements of a product's interface. A process called design thinking is used to conduct research, create solutions, iterate, and test. Companies often hire for very specific roles within the process, such as UX researcher or interaction designer. There's no one path, but many take UX courses to build their portfolios and networks. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of this, but let's look at the highlights. What is UX design? We just talked about that. The difference between UX and UI. I gave you an idea. You can look into this too. What does a UX designer do? They make everyday products as user friendly and accessible as possible. Then they talk about design thinking. What are their tasks? Create wireframes and protocols. You can get into that on your own. What tools do they use? Yeah, that's important. What kinds of projects do they work on? That's important. Um, Product design, website, app, and software design, which is what I've been talking about primarily. Voice design. I never heard of that, was not aware of that. Virtual reality and augmented reality. That's going to be big business, so you might want to do this. Service design. What is service design? Uh, Service design is the activity of planning and organizing people, infrastructure, communication, and material components of a service to improve its quality. Um, Whenever you buy a coffee, stay in a hotel, or use public transport, service design affects your experience. Okay, I'm not really sure what that is, but it seems interesting. Then it tells you what skills you need, its value. Good design is good business. That's true. How to become a UX designer. That's the part that we're interested in, right? So they have checked out Glassdoor, so we can open a link there, and we can open a link there and take a good look. You have to get some education like everything else in tech. You got to learn a skill, build a portfolio if it's something you can build a portfolio in, so you can show your skills. And of course, they're trying to sell their course, right? So we're just going to skip right over that. Next step, take their jump right in, take our free UX design short course. So this is to sell you on the big money that they want to charge you, right? And I know that because it says down here, this month we're offering a partial scholarship worth up to 1365 off of all our career change programs to the first 100 students who apply. You're going to give me 1365 off. How much is this program? Wow. It was some great information. Absolutely. Um, I like what I'm seeing down here, creative tech careers and experts advice. And you can look at those on your own. Let's go over here to the Glassdoor salary for user experience. All years, let's say 0 to 1 years, how much are you gonna make? 67 to 115. I don't want to create an account. Ah, I hate that. I know why they do it because, it's just like I want you to like my video, right? So they want to know who's using their site and they want to follow you around the site and so forth, but I'm not going to do it. So you can check out Glassdoor on your own. This is uh this is the what I clicked for the salaries, and that's right back on Career Foundry. Now I've heard of Career Foundry before. I don't know it though. I've never done anything with average $94,000. So it's going to take you a little while. Well, the average, here's what you want: intern 72, junior 93, middleweight 94, senior 154, senior UX man 227. Some of this jives with what we saw on salary.com. I didn't see 90. Did I see 93 for the junior? Not quite, but we did see this middleweight, right? And the UX design intern at 72, no, we saw them lower at 67, 60, 65. Um, but remember, this looks across the entire US, right? So if you live this, the big cities that pay higher salaries and have higher costs of living are figured into here too. So you have to take that into account. Okay. Average US salary for UX UI designers 84. So here's some other roles. Now this is interesting. UX UI designers, UX writer salaries. Oh, UX writers follow a similar process, but they're focused on creating a seamless experience with the written content. That's interesting. UX researcher salary. So, I wouldn't, I would not go after this. You know why? Chat GPT. I'm just saying. One thing that AI can do is write. Okay. UX researcher salaries. I've seen this. UX strategist salaries. Okay. What do they do? If you got good business and ability to connect with stakeholders, also you consider UX strategist. It's an intersection of business. Wait a minute. This is kind of what I do. And let me look at that because these salaries are low. Okay, what is UX strategy? You know what? This is like a subset of what I do. Like I design the entire system and they're designing just the UX part. User research, all of this is included in business systems analysis. Okay, this part I don't do. So that's interesting. Mm, I would not want to do that job. Well, this is them selling themselves, right? So let's get off of that. Okay. Average UX designer salary by country. United States. Nobody pays as much. Okay. So now, how do you get how do you get the background that you need? There's a no relevant experience, 100% remote, under 10 hours of study a week. Okay, this is on Coursera. This is a Google UX design certificate. So now they're saying the medium salary is higher in the US. Okay, there's 138,000 open jobs, but how many of those jobs are for entry level? Okay, and here are some of the job titles that they feel are the same or that you could get with the UX designer certificate. Now, let's look at this design certificate. 3 to 6 months at 10 hours a week. So, let's see. What do you learn? Foundations, wireframes and low fidelity user research, high fidelity and prototypes in Figma. This is exactly what that team was doing that I was embedded with. So there's a video you can watch. The courses are online. Oh, these are the companies that are working with Google and saying, yes, we will hire people that get your certificate. Okay, so I think this is a pretty good list. Uh, Coursera is very affordable. Um, you can go to Coursera and look at exactly how much it's going to be because I think you have to actually, it'll say get started for free if I recall correctly. You have to actually sign up before you see exactly what it's going to cost you, but it's no ridiculous price. Well, let's just do this, see what happens. Now I have a Coursera account. It might log me in. It didn't log me in, which is good because we don't want to see my stuff. We want to see what this is. Okay. Enroll for free starts today. Well, listen, if you come back tomorrow, it'll say it starts tomorrow. Okay. So it's a 7 course series. Okay. And now you see how long each one takes, right? Now, before I slide into that, let me go back up here. This 112K, 138,000 open jobs, take that with a grain of salt. Okay. Um, oh, I'm running out of power on my computer and I have my plug in the other room. So I'm not going to go get it because I'm about to wrap up. So let me talk quickly. Here's the 7 classes, right? This one's 19, 21 hours, 17 hours. So that's 60, 80. This is 29 hours, 80 and 30 is 110 and 20 is 130. And this one is 24, 154 hours. So if you were to do 10 hours a week, that would be 16 weeks. But if you do 20 hours a week, that could be 8 weeks. And if you're sitting at home and you're unemployed, I don't see why you couldn't do this like it's a full-time job, right? But it's hard to learn for 40 hours a week. So let's say you did 30 hours a week. You'll be done in 5 weeks. And you could do some over the weekend and push yourself and be done with this whole certificate in a month, right? So uh, you have to go through this whole thing so to find out exactly how much it is. So I'm sorry I'm not able to tell you that. Okay? So I hope that I hope that you found this helpful to take you through everything you need to do to understand what it is to become a UX designer. Um, if you've ever seen I mean, you know what it is. You use it every day. When you go to any application, whether it's on your phone, on your computer, or at the bank's ATM, there is UX design happening there. There is UI design happening there. And I think there's a it's hot right now for UI design. There is a thirst and a hunger among companies to make their user experiences better than the next guy, right? Because everybody wants to have a great experience when they go to use some sort of application. So if yours is boring and it's hard to understand, you're going to make less money. So they see this as a having a better UX, a better UI as a competitive advantage, and so because of that, they're willing to pay well for it. So in a month, if you put your energy into it, and if you have time to spend minimum 30 hours a week, Monday through Friday, and then put in another 10 hours over the weekend, right? So just heads down, do nothing else for a month, get your design certificate, and make some money and don't have to code. But if you wanted to code, you could go there too. Okay. Thank you very much for being here. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, and turn on your notifications. And I'll see you next time when we talk tech. Bye.